Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen. And when I book the show, I get to invite people I really want to talk to and pick their brains. And the best part of this was asking Holly Rowe to come on with me. I am so happy to see you, Holly, from ESPN. Great to see you, friend.
How are you? I love your best mom ever plaque. I'm jealous.
Well, thank you so much. I am the best mom ever. I know that you have a child too, but I can perhaps get you one for Mother's Day. It's, believe it or not the only one that they make. So I will in fact send you one. Holly, how are you?
I am so great. I am just getting home from the WNBA All-Star game that was absolutely epic. I can say it was maybe one of the best moments in WNBA history as far as the culmination of talent, all the excitement, all of the attention, sold out arena, and the ratings were out of this world, almost 4 million people at the peak viewership. So it was really cool. And then it was an incredible game with the All-Stars versus Team USA, and it was competitive and exciting.
Holly, what I love about this is that the world is catching on to the WNBA, obviously, because of Angel Reese, because of Caitlin Clark. You've been covering it since its inception. You understand this game maybe better than anybody else. So what has it been like having the world catch up to the talent and the excitement that you see all the time?
So were you ever that little kid and you were like, hey, over here, I have something really cool that you can watch, and nobody would come and see your cool thing? It feels a little bit like that. Like we have been screaming from the mountaintops about how talented, how deep, how great the WNBA is. And now because of some of these, kids that went through college and had the NIL marketing, I think people are forgetting both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Their games and their results were exciting, but they've also been marketed in a way that no college athletes ever have been before. Major box brands getting behind them and marketing them while they're in college. So those eyeballs have translated over to the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is must-watch basketball right now, period. She is so exciting, her passing. And so it's been really fun because I think we're ushering in a lot of new fans, and they're seeing that the product is phenomenal. And I'll give you one example. So my little nephew, he's 10 years old. He's obsessed with Caitlin Clark, but now he's also obsessed with Kelsey Mitchell because she plays with Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever. And so that, what is the saying? Rising tide lifts all boats. And I think that's what we're seeing in the W.
Yeah, it was very cool when Rich and I were overseas in June. A cab driver asked us about Caitlin Clark. And now normally they'd want to talk about football, the NBA, what have you. But in halting a time, this guy's asking me about Caitlin Clark, which I think was so exciting. Do you think that Team USA made a mistake not including her and Angel Reese to go overseas?
Oh, this is a hard question because at the outset, when they made that decision, I don't think it was a mistake. Angel and Caitlin were both coming off their college seasons. They had not participated in any of the camps. People have to remember that there are training sessions and camps that lead up to the Olympics that Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson and Brittany Griner, they're all participating in. And because they were still in college, Caitlin and Angel did not have a chance to participate in any of those camps and start building that chemistry with Team USA. So at the initial outset, I did not think it was a mistake. As I have watched Caitlin Clark evolve in the WNBA, her passing is game changing. And I think, if that decision was being made today, it could have been different. But, it's hindsight is 2020. Caitlin's playing great. I think she is one of the best passers in the WNBA right now as a rookie. She just set the WNBA record with 19 assists in a game. But their players on Team USA are phenomenal. When you talk about the decision, you have to ask, well, who would you have left off? And that's where the decision was very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Breanna Stewart would love to have that conversation with you. The question is, though, should the team have evolved? There seems to be, and this is from the outside looking in, so I want your take on this. There seems to be so much tension between the women that set the stage before, and obviously, Team USA has always rolled. They've never lost in the Olympics. But is there a perceived idea that there is tension between this younger class that's gotten so much more attention and the women that came before and set the stage for them?
I honestly have not seen that in person. I know what social media likes to say and how social media likes to blow everything up. But as I was watching Caitlin Clark interact with Diana Taurasi and interact with Team USA, when I saw Angel Reese and Neko Ogumake, high-fiving and interacting, I don't see that tension. I do think that social media exacerbates that. So any little thing, blows up. But I think one thing people are forgetting, this is competitive. Caitlin Clark is competing against these women. And for some reason, we expect women to be nice when they're being competitive. And Drake has a great song, Suzy, called Nice for What? And that's what I want to shout to the world of, it's supposed to be competitive. There is supposed to be tension with Caitlin and other teams in the WNBA. So, Angel Reese has been very well accepted. I think she's getting a lot of love from veterans. And I do think that is something that social media has exacerbated. But I'm not seeing it in person, particularly at the All-Star game where everybody was really getting along great and it looked great.
I mean, it looked like a serious NBA All-Star game environment where it just looked like I've never actually wanted to be at a game as much as I wanted to be at that one. Of course, I was at visiting day in Maine, which is exactly the same thing. But, Holly, I just have loved seeing this develop. And the idea that women have to be so nice, I like how chippy it is. I like the fact these girls are standing there taking these fouls and going in hard. Who's your most exciting player to watch if you had to leave Caitlin aside?
Well, right now, the thing I'm the most excited about that I really think got lost during the All-Star weekend, because everybody's talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese playing together for the first time. And I think what got lost is that Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson are playing together on Team USA. These two are often pitted against each other because they are often the two finalists for MVP. And so there's kind of this feeling of A'ja and Stewie, whose camp are you in? And what I thought was really essential during the All-Star weekend, and then in their game yesterday against Germany, is that Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson are the two best players in the world, period. And they are on the same team. And how fortunate we are that we get to watch them play basketball. They have combined, they've played 2 games now for Team USA, and they have combined for 86 points and 36 rebounds. That is great basketball. And so to me, the A'ja-Stewie dynamic on Team USA is what I'm looking forward to for the Olympics. They don't play again until July 29th when they open the games with the team Japan, that a lot of people in Team USA will tell you Japan has given them the most difficult game in the last few years. So this is a game for people to watch, but my eyes are squarely on Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson, the two best players in the world, make no mistake.
And I'll be curious to see Brittany Griner get up there and put on her uniform and wear the USA. What will that be like as we watch her after what she went through, her ordeal in Russia, to come back and put on that uniform?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very emotional. She did not play in their game yesterday against Germany. Brittany did not play. But I think, number one, it's got to be a little terrifying and emotional for her to go overseas again. She has not been to Europe since that ordeal in Russia where she was wrongfully detained and held in a prison camp for over a year or close to a year. And I just read Brittany's book, Coming Home, so I could really get some insight onto what she's feeling. And it's a lot of different things. She is embarrassed. She does feel some shame because that was a mistake she made, but she is very excited to represent Team USA. She's proud to be an American. She's so grateful to President Biden, Kamala Harris, and others who helped fight for her release. So I think it's going to be a really poignant moment when Brittany is representing the USA in the opening ceremony and in that first game against Japan. Because if you've ever met Brittany Griner, she is one of the most beloved figures in the WNBA. She has the heart the size of America. She is a wonderful person. She did make a mistake. She's admitted to her mistake and apologized for it. But I'm looking forward to her getting back on the national stage and showcasing what she can do for Team USA.
Holly Rowe joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. Suzy Shuster in for Rich. Back to the WNBA because I can't stop talking about it. What are you most excited for as the women come back and head into the stretch?
Yeah, it's going to be really wild and frenetic. So the WNBA, the gold medal game is on August 11th, and the WNBA starts up again August 15th. So all of these players, now there are a lot of WNBA players that will be playing in the Olympics, not just for Team USA, but there were 3 W players on Germany last night, Satu and Niara Sabali, Leonie Fibish, who plays for the Liberty. Megan Gustafson is playing for Spain. Like, there are WNBA players sprinkled through all of these rosters Australia has a lot of WNBA players in Ezi Magbagor, who plays for Seattle. So I think it's going to be really exciting for WNBA fans to watch the Olympics because there are so many W players who will be participating. But then the season kicks off again on August 15th. It's going to be wild and frenetic. I will have a game in LA on the 15th. And so it's going to be like a really quick, all right, get back, get ready. And the second half of the season starts, and then the playoffs will begin in October. And so it's going to be frenetic and exciting.
Oh, I mean, I can't even tell you that we get back in town from getting our kids on the 15th and we're going to a game that night. I mean, because we went to the Caitlin Clark game here in L.A. with our daughter Taylor, who I told you is a 10-year-old hooper. And it was, Rich will tell you, it was the most electric night I've had in, I still call it Staples Center, for so long. It was, I can't wait to see you when you come in town for that one. I'm going to have to make this happen. Let's talk college football before you go. First of all, I can't even tell who's who and where they're going. I mean, I'm so confused trying to figure out all of the different new conferences. But if we look at this new playoff schedule, who do you think will be the 4 teams that are in it?
It's really tough. Right. It's tough. It's tough for me to tell right now because, I'm just diving back into it myself. But I think that Alabama is a really interesting team. You don't lose the greatest coach of all time in Nick Saban and just turn the page like it's normal. But I had a chance to cover Kalen DeBoer at Washington while they made that run to the national championship last season. And I'm just telling you, this guy's a rock star, and I absolutely love him. And initially, Alabama had a lot of kids hit the transfer portal when Nick Saban retired, but they have started to pick up some steam in recruiting. So I'm really curious about Alabama. I think that they are a team that can make some noise. And then, Georgia, they have been recruiting so well under Kirby Smart. Their quarterback returns. And so as you look at who can be good, I look at who has the most experience at quarterback. And right now that's Georgia. So I would say Georgia and Alabama are 2 of my favorites right now. And then Notre Dame is a sneaky third that I would put in that category because Riley Leonard, who's the quarterback at Duke last year. Remember, Duke got off to that great start. They were undefeated. I think they were 6-0 or 7-0 until Riley Leonard got hurt. And he is now transferred to Notre Dame. So I'm really looking at the Fighting Irish. I get to cover their very first game, Notre Dame at Texas A&M, and that is going to be epic.
Let me ask you this. Is it going to be a really long year for Rich for Michigan? I mean, how do we feel about the pickup from this and the follow-up? Will they beat Ohio State?
It's okay. So here's the thing. I really believe in their new coach. I love him. Coach Brown is amazing. I think he's going to do a great job there. But that team lost a lot. So Blake Corum was the heart and soul of that team. And anyone who watched the national championship, he absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage, ran the ball down Washington's throat. And so to lose both J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback, and the running back, Blake Corum, is a big deal. But then they lost some of their key guys on defense. So Michigan's going to have to reload. But I do think they've had a lot of excitement in recruiting, and I do believe in their new head coach a lot. He was their offensive coordinator last year, called that great game, and he's the one who really established that line of scrimmage and that Michigan has to be tough up front. They had the best line of scrimmage in the game last year. Their offensive line was the best line in the country, in my opinion, and so I do think Michigan will have that physical front and make a lot of noise. But, you brought up a good point. I do think Ohio State is a team to watch. Ryan Day, they have fallen short against Michigan, obviously, in the last few years, but I still think they're the most loaded team in the country right now. So, those 2 teams actually can be playing for an opportunity to go to the playoff come the end of the season. And one last thing, Suzy, before we get off college football, I'm so excited for the college football playoff to expand. What that means is more fan bases, more excitement. And I think there's going to be a lot more eyes and a lot more excitement around college football this year because more people will be included in December in that expanded playoff. So I'm really excited. This is the most excited I've been for college football in a long, long time.
Oh, I mean, you totally get it, Holly. I mean, our house is paid for by the National Football League, but I really loved covering college football. There's nothing quite as exhilarating as walking onto a campus game day through the hordes of people and the drunk students and the families watching and then being there on the field with the bands. I love it. So I think you have the greatest job in the world.
I really do. I'll give you one quick story. So I was covering a game This was Oklahoma at Tennessee when Baker Mayfield was just starting out as the first starting quarterback at Oklahoma. That game goes into overtime. Baker Mayfield runs it in to win the game, and his legend is born. He goes on to win the Heisman Trophy. And that night, I drove through the night, got on a flight in Atlanta, went to the Denver Broncos opening game, Peyton Manning's last year. And I was looking around and I was like, I'm kind of bored right now. Like, this atmosphere does not compare at all to what I experienced in Knoxville, Tennessee last night. So the NFL is amazing. I think the play is the most exciting thing, but nothing can compare with the college football atmosphere.
No, it's the greatest. Holly, great to see you. I'm so glad that you answered my call and hope to get you back on here on the Rich Eisen Show very soon.
Always love talking basketball with you. Thank you so much.
Love it. WNBA or bust.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.